Hi everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios, and today begins the first day in a 50-week series where I'm going to be putting together a 2-page layout in a journal representing all 50 states. Now, I have a lateral filing cabinet over in my office corner, and the bottom drawer, which all the drawers are just under 3 feet long, the bottom drawer is nothing but file folders full of travel brochures and state ephemera from a lot of the states cross country. Of course, the very first, and I'm going to be doing these in the order that the states became states, which means the very first one is Delaware. And guess what? I don't have anything in the file folders for Delaware. So I'm going to be researching that this week, and next week I will have the 2-page spread to show you for Delaware, and then we'll do the next state in order. And so that's what we're going to be doing every Thursday for the next 50 weeks. So I started out, I want to make a coffee table book size, and I had the perfect box that I was going to use, and I can't find it. It's just vanished. So I found this box in my stash, and I think it's going to be deep enough. It's going to give me a 1.5 inch spine, and I think that'll be enough because these are not going to be overly thick junk journal-y pages. But I am going to be using this jumbo art pad from Prang that I got at Hobby Lobby. It does not say what the weight of the paper is, but it's pretty substantial, and by the time I glue stuff to it, it's going to be fine. The other thing I'm going to be using is this 50 States Cricut cartridge, where I can cut out not only the names of the states, but I can cut out the states themselves, and I can include the state flower and the state bird, all from this Cricut cartridge. So I'm going to be pulling my Cricut out and putting it to use and getting this stuff cut. And I may just take a day, maybe one day next week before Thursday, and cut out, let's say, the first 5 or 10 weeks and go from there. So I'll have that to work with. The other thing I thought about is, one of the things I want to include is, say, 5 places you want to visit in that state. And I want to use these Rolodex cards. I have a bunch of these. So I want to use these inside pockets and list the 5 places that you would want to visit while you are in that state. So that's the items that I'm going to be working with. And let's start out. This box is about 12 by 12. So that's what I'm going to use these pages for. I'm going to move this off to my chair and tear out one of the sheets, and hope I can do it without tearing the paper. That's always a trick, isn't it? Especially if you're trying to take the first sheet out. Okay, so let's see what happens when I get a hold of a sheet, first of all. Now I know that we're going to have that, this pad has a carry handle that I don't need. So I know that's partially where we're going to be cutting this off at. Okay, there we go. And I will have the rest of these cut out in the future. But we know we need to be 12 inches or a scant under, and this is going to be just a little bit. So if I take this down, let me move this down to where you can see. If I take this down and line up the 12-inch mark on the ruler, then I know that I need to go here. And that's going to give me my 12-inch page. And I can just fold this down like that. And see, that's as close as you have to get to measuring anything. Now, most of the time, I do like using my paper trimmer. I will give you that. Okay. Now we're going to try tearing this off. And this part that I'm tearing off, there will be things in here that I can use. I'm trying really hard not to tear this. I've already got one burp up there. But I can use this piece to cut other things for the journal in. And then it needs to be no bigger than 12 by 12. So if I go there, and we are just under 12, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But you know what? Because I do have that burr, I am going to trim that off. Just a skosh. I don't want to come off a whole lot. But now that I've got it folded down, I can get in here with that. And I can make that a nicer edge. I tell you, I have pretty much finished my crafting corner, and it looks so nice over here to do stuff. Okay, so now let's take our box here and open it up. And see, that's going to fit in there nicely. It's going to give me a border around, which is fine. I have a little bit of overhang here, and I could maybe deconstruct that because I'm going to take this box apart and make it into a book anyway. So let's go ahead and do that. We have time. So I know I did a paper pumpkin video on Tuesday. Technically, paper pumpkin videos are going to run on Mondays. And as I told you, I have an entire box of paper pumpkins I want to go through and get out of my office. So that is my plan, to do that. Now, I do have a burp here where that flap was already torn. I may have to take that off and make this just a little smaller than 12 by 12. I may have to do that. But for right now, let's go ahead and cut this border down. Now, I know this is not the most exciting part of this project, but it is a part of the project that needs to be done nevertheless. So let's move the box here for a minute. Get my sleeves out of the way. I was cold here this morning, though we did make it to 40 degrees today. I was cold here this morning, so I put on a sweatshirt, and I forgot to switch to a t-shirt. I cannot work in sleeves. It drives me absolutely insane. Now I'm going to turn this away because I need that length here. See if I can do this. I want to go down across this way, and I need my box cutter. I may have to get a second box cutter because my instinct is to put one over here in this corner, in the crafting corner. But if I do that, now see, I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this a little short anyway because I want to go on this side of the holes. If I move the one that I use all the time from its spot, then when I go to use it, I'm not going to have it where I'm used to it being, and I'm going to be lost. So I may have to pick me up another box cutter, just for 'cause. Okay, so there's one. And now we're going to go this way. So what's everybody working on? Are you getting into the crafting vein for the year? You got things you want to get done? I know for this year, I think most of the paper pumpkin stuff I'm going to be working on for this month is all Valentine's, which is fine. Because I bought a lot of Valentine postage stamps last year. And I want to be able to use those. So I hope to be mailing Valentine's this year. I also, I spent the last 3 days cataloging all my cardstock. And at some point I'll be showing you what I've done. But I put everything in alphabetical order. Take that back. I put it in by rainbow. And then within each rainbow color, it is in alphabetical order. And it looks so pretty on my shelf. But then I put together, I've got 3 boxes of pre-made card bases, because when you cut an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock into a card base, you wind up with 2 card bases. So I've got that done. Now I have several that don't have bases in them, and I've got some that have multiple bases in them. So as I fill those in, I'm going to be cutting those card bases. While I'm talking about card bases, I know I am all over the place today. Bear with me. I will slow down at some point. But this weekend, and I will leave a link in the description box below, I'm going to be playing in a card summit. And it's all about, you don't have to buy anything, it's all about what you have in your stash. And I'm so looking forward to that. And if you're familiar with the color cube, the lady who invented the color cube is going to be one of the presenters. I think that's going to be cool. Now you'll see, I do have a little bit off there. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up. And I'm trying to get this to lay as flat as I can and get it in camera, but I'm going to line these two edges up. And that's where I'm going to trim that little piece off and get rid of it. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And hopefully that will let me get rid of that little burr that we had over here. It's going to be close, but I think we can make it work. Close enough. There we go. So there is our cover for this, 1.5 inch spine. And yes, I may have to be, let's see. Now this is going to have to come down about, say, 1/2 inch, maybe 1/4 inch. So let's pull that up. Let's take it off 1/4 inch first, because remember, we can take off, but we can't put back. So let's get that one out of here. And I know then we're going to have to trim the cardboard down just a little bit. Okay, that's better. Now, we have this over here. There's that, and where is my... Okay, somewhere here I have the ruler that I was using. Who ate it? Who moved it? I may have, who knows? Oh, there it went. It was on the floor. Fell off the back of the chair. Okay, so we know this is going to go into that seam, so I'm going to take 1.5 inches off of each side. I'm going to take 1.5 inches, and if I line this mark on my ruler on either end of my grid, I should be fine. But let's make sure we're there first. Yeah, we'll be fine. So we're going to take 1.5 inches off here, and then we're going to flip it around and we're going to take another 1.5 inches off. What I want to do is I want to have a coffee table book for this. Something bigger, and there'll be a 2-page spread. There's that. Move that. Move that. Get my sleeve out of the way. Yeah, see, that's going to be perfect. That's going to be perfect. May have to take... Actually, I may have to take another little bit of that off. So the other ones I'll know I want to take 1/2 inch off, not the 1/4. While I'm here, I want to welcome, I want to say Karen SWAIN. I may have the first name wrong. I'll have to look and I'll correct later. I'll link her channel down below. She does some really cool stuff, and you should see the hauls that she finds. Okay, see, there we are. We are right there. Just enough space. So, my goal is, I'm going to go ahead and cut those pages this week. My other goal is when I get this done, I want to cover this in the front and the back in map. And I have map papers up here, so that's what I plan to use. Unless I can convince Bob to let me use that map that has been rolled up in a tube forever. I think it's a world map. But I'd rather use a 50-state map, so we'll see. But that's going to do it for me in the studio today. Come back next Thursday when we look at Delaware. And we talk about the next state in line. I will be back here on... Friday's supposed to be Friday flip-throughs, but I have the card summit this weekend. It's absolutely free. Come in, get ideas for using your stash, pick up a few techniques you may have forgotten or you never knew. It's always fun in these card summits. The link down below is an affiliate link for Tiffany Solario. She's been a guest here on my channel and on my blog, so I like to help her out when I can. There are several others. If you are a follower of Justin Hovey, Justine has one on her channel. But I've got Tiffany's on mine. I think I signed up through Justine's, and then I got the link for Tiffany's, so I'll share Tiffany's, but I'm linked through Justine's, so they get a little bit of credit for everybody who participates. Like I said, it's absolutely free, but if you want unlimited access, there is a price you can pay for unlimited access. Everything opens up for you immediately. You don't have to wait for the summit to begin. Everything opens up automatically for you. So check out all your options. Do the one that works best for you. And I will see you back here next Monday with a paper pumpkin. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. Creative blessings.